Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, August 10th, the town board meeting for the month of August. First item on our agenda is going to be two public hearings, which will ask you to speak in favor or not in favor of. You have that option. We do ask for your name for the record, if you do, and then we'll move to our regular agenda item after the public hearings. First public hearing is for Deanne Collins, a requested comprehensive map change to rezone from agriculture to B1 commercial, newly created CSM Lot 1 at 0.56 acres and Lot 2, 0.80 acres located at 7921 Red Rock Avenue, parcel number 0700730. Looking for a sale on a couple parcels there. One is right on the corner of Woodrock and 80th Street for a potential business, and that's the one that's being looked to go into the commercial. All fees have been paid. I don't see anything specific to anything else on it, so I'll ask anybody here wishing to speak against the rezoning of the parcel. Second time, anybody wishing to speak against the rezoning of the parcel and comprehensive map change?
There's somebody asking questions over here. They just came in and they want to know what we're talking about.
We're doing a public hearing. I'm sorry you couldn't be on time, but item is on the Deanne Collins parcel, comprehensive map change and request for rezoning, 7921 Woodrock Avenue. Third and final time, anybody wishing to speak against the rezone? Hearing none, anybody wishing to speak in favor of the rezoning and the comprehensive map change?
Is the applicant here?
No.
She's not here, but she did send me a text last night saying that she would like me to represent her if there's any questions that come up.
Didn't see you back in the corner there.
My name is Heather Winker. I believe I have the property that would be adjacent to this lot. And I just had a question regarding the undeveloped alley in between. I didn't know if that's appropriate to ask.
That is still there, and that's designated as a town road that may or may not need to be there if things get developed, especially with the other parcel. If I believe her intent is to sell the other parcels into some type of activity for somebody to either divide it or sell off it. And at that point in time, if the right-of-way is not needed for the road entrance into there, it may be abandoned by the town. It's not developed, but it's just on the map.
What is it going to look like?
Pardon me?
Can we get her name? Can we get her name?
Get the name for the record, I guess, for the clerk, please.
My name is Heather Winker.
And you're to the east, north of the parcel, right after the road dedication. That's there, correct? You have the little, you have a shed there, is that?
The little shed, the one right
Okay.
across from the bank, correct?
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And the other gentleman is Kyle Davis?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of it or questions? Quick. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor? I guess that was the third time, correct? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing for that and move to our second public hearing of the evening, and that's for Shane Roosh. Conditional use permit to build storage warehouses with office in the commercial district located at 2221 Oak Street, parcel 0703018. Shane, what's the full acreage there? I guess I forgot right offhand.
It's like, there's 5 acres total, but 3 acres is what I'm proposing for the 8 buildings. 3 out of the 5.
And the office space would be in the
A 3 acre parcel, it'd be closest to 54.
Okay.
what?
Highway 54. All right. Those wishing to speak against the conditional use permit to build the storage warehouses, you may have the floor. Anybody wishing to speak against?
Bill Hanson. My property borders that property right on Saratoga Street, 54. And I'm afraid that that's going to, it's a real popular area. I think that storage sits there would bring down the value of my property as well as everybody's property around there. And if we're putting 24/7 outlet there, you know, that should be regulated hours if they do go through something like this, along with a 6-foot fence around the entire thing. But I strongly am against it because you know, there's no fence there now, and if they can build this thing without a fence, I'll have all kinds of people running through my property, and I don't want this at all.
Okay.
I think there should be security cameras up all around there too if they do put it up. But like I say, I'm just totally against the whole thing going up in there.
Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak against? Go ahead, sir. Name for the record.
My name is Douglas Brown. I live at 2230 Saratoga Street, Wisconsin Rapids. My property also adjoins this property directly to the north, and I have the same concerns that Mr. Hanson does about, I've lived in that property for 45 years, and I've never had to worry about security of my property, and now with a 24/7 operation of people coming in, it's a concern of mine. I had a sheet that I gave to Mr. Clendenny that tells about the risks of these types of facilities. Some things that I'm concerned about are the aesthetic landscaping to the north, east, and west of the neighbor's view of the facility, and mowing weed control of the existing property because it's not been done ever since that property has been bought. There has been no effort to do any mowing or weed control of the property at all. And I think there also should be unobtrusive lighting of the area. There should also be surveillance cameras located in the storage facility and specific hours of operation, not 24/7, and commitment of increased police presence in the area of the storage facility. So those are some of my concerns.
Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak against? All right, anybody, that was the third and final time. Anybody wish to speak in favor? Mr. Roost, I'm sure is in favor. You want to answer any of those questions?
Yeah, I guess these are, I run my office out of it. One of the buildings is going to house a 1,600 square foot office space where I will run roost companies out of. You know, I'll have employees, I guess, in and around the property Monday through Friday. I mean, I work 7 days a week, so there's always people around there. I guess I hope I take pride in my own buildings, and especially when my office and stuff is around there. I think security and all that stuff will be fairly high. I guess I haven't talked too much about security cameras or anything, but the buildings they're going to be built nice. They're going to be nice looking buildings, and I guess, you know, there will be traffic in and out of there with people renting storage units, but I do think if you look at a lot of the storage buildings out there, it's not, you know, typically people put something in a storage unit, they might go there once a month, they might go there once every 6 months. It's not like a grocery store or something where you're going there every other day, or a gas station or something like that. So.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak in favor? Third and final time, anybody else wish to speak in favor? Hearing no more people wishing to speak, I'll close that public hearing. We'll move to our town board regular agenda items, and the first item on the agenda will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2, approve the agenda for the meeting. Any corrections, changes? Item 3, approve minutes from 7/12, 7/25, and 8/12, town board meetings.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for the July 12th, July 25th, and August 2nd meetings.
Motion Dan, second.
I'll second it for conversation.
Conversation, which item? Which minutes?
I'm looking at the minutes from the, let's see, I wish I would have marked it here. It was in regards to the, oh yes, July 25th minutes. Item number 4. It just says motion carried as amended. It didn't reinstate what the amendment was. I'm wondering if that could be included in what the amended motion was.
Do you have a different, my copy says that the motion was to approve the liquor license, and then the next sentence is motion to amend the motion so that the applicant does not have to pay the cost for the meeting.
Okay.
Isn't that the amendment?
That was the amendment, right?
That's what I thought. Did you?
Motion carried as amended.
Oh, motion carried as amended. Okay, I just was reading the other ones that were amended, and it just seemed like the format wasn't the same. That's
Okay,
why.
are we okay with it?
Okay.
Anybody else?
Yes. Okay, and item number 8, it says that someone asked for clarification of the voting of it. And the motion on the agenda, item number 4, not because Mr. Donahue was the Police and Fire Commission, but because he should have been, it should have been because of the cost of the applicant. There was no one else, nothing else on the agenda. There was something else on the agenda, that's why it wasn't, he didn't have to pay. But then when you go to, are we just doing the 25th minutes or all 3 of those?
All 3 of them.
So if you go to the August 12th,
August
Second.
2nd.
August 2nd meeting, that was another meeting of similar nature. We didn't have anybody there, but we also made a motion not to pay that. So I'm thinking that we should probably send something like this to our legislative committee and discuss it, because I think we're making different rules here.
Probably right, Bill. I'll take that as a referral. How's that?
Thank you. And just one thing, in the minutes, I was wondering if the chief of police is going to talk about a bike rodeo. I haven't seen his report or read it. Okay. No, okay. I was just saying, because that was discussed that he would be looking into a bike rodeo or something like that. Okay, thank you.
Do we need any correction on anything? I'm hearing none. It's just conversations on them.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of the minutes as presented then, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. All right, item 4 is our public comment period. This is a period of time for anybody that wishes to address the board is limited to 2 minutes each in your conversations. The public comment period will not exceed 30 minutes in length. Anybody out there wishing to speak to the board this evening? Shirley?
Yeah, on number 15, item number 15 on the agenda, the fireworks issue. In our ordinance number 55, it says, as an ordinance regulating the sale or use of fireworks, and then on 55.3, sale/use/possession, number A, it says, no person shall possess, use, ignite, sell, or give away within the town of Grand Rapids any fireworks except for specific fireworks display for which the Grand Rapids Fire Chief or his designee has issued a permit. It seems to me that right there is teeth enough that we should be able to regulate the problems with the fireworks issue on the 4th of July or any other time. So I guess that's my comment. And if it needs, if the police department needs more direction, I think the town board should give them that direction, so.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak? Anybody else wishing to speak? All right. Next, back on the rate, did I mess it up? We're on 5, right? Yes. Okay, thank you. Monthly reports from Fire Department's Chief Don Bone is excused this evening. Kathy Elf will give his information.
Good evening, everybody. We are currently staffed with 52 fire and EMS members and 8 EMS-only members, a total of 20 members trained to do EMS. We are currently looking for members for fire and EMS. If you are interested in our communities we serve for fire or EMS, please stop by the fire station or see Chief Bone. All department vehicles are in service. Request of service calls. Since the last report to the board, the department responded to 26 calls for service, consisting of the following: 16 EMS calls, 1 citizen assist, 2 1050, 1 burning complaint, 2 vehicle fire, 2 transformer fire, 1 false alarm, and 1 mutual aid with Nakusa Fire Department. The monthly department training consisted of EMS with United and the fire department on emergency vehicle driving refresher training. The department held or attended the following meetings. There was 1 monthly department meeting, 1 department officer meeting, and 1 training meeting. And with public relations, the fire department attended the Encourage community picnic with the safety trailer. I'm hoping there are several people who were able to experience and see what that trailer's about. That's his Chief Bones Fire Department report.
And I don't believe there was anything on the safety side.
Safety, actually, there was 1 incident of 1 dog bite of a police officer.
Okay, I guess I remember that now. Okay, any questions that we will not be able to answer?
Right.
Move on to the police department report. Mel Peterson, Chief.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. For the month of July, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 455 calls for service. That compared to 432 calls for service last July, 2015. That's approximately 5% increase in calls, and the town board members have a breakdown of those calls for service. The police department issued 25 written warnings, 22 municipal ordinance citations, and 46 traffic citations for the month. On July 11th, the Police and Fire Commission conducted the final round of interviews from the list of applicants to fill 2 part-time police officer positions. 2 applicants were selected from this round. And first off, I'd like to welcome James Jaworski to our part-time officer ranks. He started his FTO syllabus August 1st, and the second candidate that was selected regretfully got a full-time offer from the Hortonville Police Department, and so he had to regretfully decline our part-time offer. Who could have figured that, right? So the second selection right now is hasn't been made yet at this time, and it'll be from the remaining list of applicants. On July 27th, I had the honor and privilege of meeting and escorting Medal of Honor recipient Kenneth Stump from America Inn to the American Heroes Cafe at the Lowell Senior Center in Wisconsin Rapids. Bill Hack, the operator of the American Heroes Cafe, had invited Medal of Honor winner Stump to the community for a special event there. And I'd just like to say, if nobody has had the opportunity to meet a Medal of Honor winner, it's truly an honor and privilege to meet them and escort them to these types of events. So if you ever had that opportunity, by all means, take advantage of it. On July 19th, the Grand Rapids Police Department graphics were placed on our department's speed trailer. It's currently out on Whitrock. You'll see that parked at different locations around town, so hopefully it'll make people aware of just how fast they are going. So looks pretty nice with the graphics on it now. So. The Grand Rapids Police Auxiliary had another busy month. They assisted Wisconsin Rapids with the fireworks display on July 4th. They also assisted with the State Water Ski Show tournament hosted by the Aqua Skiers at Southwood County Park, July 21st through the 24th. Again, their duties included traffic control, crowd control, and ID checks at these events. And again, you can't say enough about these people. Our numbers are down a little bit right now until mid-state classes resume. Hopefully we can get a good recruiting class out of the criminal justice majors there and get a few more bodies. But we have a few people putting in a lot of hours right now, so their help is greatly appreciated and should be appreciated by all the town residents. So my hat's off to them. Vehicles in the department are doing well outside of normal maintenance. And once again, if you ever want to come in and chat, my door's always open. Any questions?
I have one. Just wondering about the ski show for future reference. How did the event, in your eyes, turn out as far as problems? Well, we had the disturbance of the weather, of course.
Right.
But if a person could take that out of the picture, was it pretty well mannered?
Since I've been here the last 3 years, it's been very well mannered. I think Mike Throne's here from the Aqua Skiers. He can attest the fact that however many years ago when they implemented their policy for the tournament, that if any of the team members got into any trouble, there would be ramifications, and it really curbed what was going on out there. I think the way they have their setup out there now helps reduce any sort of problems that may come up. And like you said, outside of the weather, which luckily nobody was hurt, because that could have been a disaster out there with all the damage. But it's been very uneventful from the law enforcement side.
That's good to hear.
So,
thank you.
Some in the back, Ron, Mr. Ed.
Yeah, thank you. So you talked about speed trailer, that's one of these radar things that's set
yes,
along?
it has a display as you're driving through. It displays how fast you're going.
Okay, and that's Grand Rapids, we own that?
Yes.
Okay, how'd that come about? I think that's a good idea, but...
Right. That was actually, it's an older trailer, but operates it was from the Merrill Police Department. They were looking to get rid of theirs. They had some other plans that they were going with. They were looking at some permanent speed signs placed at the entrances to their city. And so they really didn't have a use for their trailer, and I think we got it at a very reasonable price, and that was taken out of some crime prevention funds from that had been sitting there, I guess, for long before I got here. So it was very inexpensive, but it's working just great.
Okay, thank you, Chief Peterson.
Anybody else? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We got Steve Anderson. Oh, I'm going to forget Chris again today.
Again.
About 4 months ago I did it. I marked it on my calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Grand Rapids. Good evening. For the month of July, our end of the month cash on hand was $929,339. We receipted $132,710. We dispersed $347,643. Our checking account currently on the end of July held $105,629. Our investment account had $523,797, and our money market has $314,372. Outstanding checks at the end of the month, $14,459. Any questions?
Thank you, Chris. All right, now we'll move to item 6, update from Reggie. Steve Anderson and Justin are here. Jason, rather. It's his other brother, right?
I mean, I'll probably be good.
All right.
Jason's more than welcome anytime.
You do fine.
I'll be fine. First of all, thanks again for letting us come here and speak to you and address what's been happening with Reggie over the last year. For folks in the audience who don't know, there's a group in town that's called the Regional Economic Growth Initiative. I know the name sounds like a growth you should have removed from your body, but the reality is it's to help spur jobs and investment in the whole region. And that consists of Southwood County and some of the surrounding areas, including Grand Rapids. The economic development is such a vague concept. This year what we've done is we've broken it into 4 categories so that, at least from our perception, you can do a metric on it of sorts, like see whether or not we're actually succeeding. Those 4 areas consist of capacity building, municipal interaction, business development, and finally entrepreneurship and small business growth. With capacity building, what that really is building up the bulk or the physical ability of the organization to do the job. That's everything from funding that we've been working on this year, new grants, setting up the office, of course, which we had set up the last time I was here, but also a website, which is going to be very robust and very vigorous, coming online at the end of this month is the plan. We have marketing materials, we've been doing outreach, we've spoken with consultants who advise companies to grow and expand or even to relocate, and we've actually succeeded in having a couple of site selectors come to the area. Those are folks who represent these companies, and so far so good, positive news, nothing fantastic to report yet, but at the very least they're coming here, and this region is now known well beyond its borders and beyond the borders of the state. And that's what we're looking to do with the website to get it even further out there. Part of the process of all this, of course, includes engaging you guys, the municipalities, the cities, the villages, and towns. We have to do that because we don't know necessarily what it is you all want us to do. We've been, over the past 12 months, working with a variety of different cities, the largest meeting of which was the city of Nakusa, or the village rather, meeting with its school board as well. So we had a large gathering, 60 or 70 folks. We went through a process by which we identified strategies, objectives that the city people wanted, the citizens wanted, business people, and the politicians as well as the Board of Education. And out of that, we created a working group. And it's already had a couple of successes with respect to the businesses looking at and locating into Nakusa. We've had, again, the site selector who represents these companies come in and has identified a location and is looking to move forward. So now it would be up to the city working with the site selector. And it's their discretion as to reveal the identity of the company and stuff. I'm not going to do that simply because it's their request. But we're also working on other aspects for them. Their engagement with Rome, for instance. How can they better interact with that and the development down there? How can we ensure that we're capturing all the hospitality dollars that we're now missing, which I think is somewhere in the neighborhood of 70%. So it's a huge amount of money that our communities are missing out on. And as a region, that affects everybody across the board when it comes to stability for law enforcement, for fire protection, for schools, and just for roads and networks. The business development aspect, that's something which is very important. That deals with retentions, expansions, and the like. So what we've been doing, along with the Heart of Wisconsin, the Chamber of Commerce, Encourage Foundation, the City of Rapids, Wisconsin Rapids, and occasionally the county, is we go out and meet with companies that are already here on the ground. Large ones, small ones. We talk to them about what they need, what they don't need. We try to find out, are there any problems with their own municipalities? And we have covered quite a few. This has been a program that's been around a while. The difference, though, is I'm now 24/7. So when we come across an issue, I can address it immediately and keep on it and keep going at it. And I can be the nuisance. The guy shaking the tree and knocking down the apples to be sure we have something happening, something growing, and something coming out of it. We've already successfully motivated, I should say, one of our local municipalities to assist a major cranberry producer to help with an issue that was there. We're also
successful in assisting a cheese processor that happens to be down the road here, and the plan is to double its workforce, as well as double its output on its production, from 30 million pounds a year to 60. So it's going to be a significant increase for the area. 25, I think, 20%, I'm sorry, of the folks who work at the plant live within Wood County. I don't have a specific breakdown in which cities or villages. But you can anticipate probably the same number for the growth factor, because most of the people who work there drive within a half hour to get to work. They don't drive much further than that. We have other things happening out there. We're working with agricultural concerns. We've identified, and we're working with the Heart of Wisconsin, the Chamber, to help develop an entrepreneurial program at the Nakusa School District. They're being very aggressive. We think that's going to be a great outcome. It's mostly on the Chamber's back because, again, I'm one person and I can't do much other than find mentors and perhaps funding, which takes us to entrepreneurs and startups. I'm sure a few of the folks in this room have got some small business ideas, operate their own interests and enterprises, and have found that there are issues here in this county and this region that we're missing, and that's what we're working on. At the moment, our focus is on something called a seed fund, which would be grants. Not large ones, but enough to get companies started up, get them underway, pay for legal fees, things like that. But something to assist. Then we also have a private loan fund that we're looking at. It's basically a bunch of banks get together and develop this fund that's used for gap financing. Or if a company needs a certain amount of money, but they can't get to it for some reason, or their credit's gotten bad, or there's a risk factor like a divorce happening, this group could do that funding. It's very successful around the country. It promotes growth in pretty rapid fashion. So it's something which, again, we'll be reaching out and doing community meeting-ons before we actually get to it, having it, so it's going to be several months off. But so far, so good in that regard. And then working with the entrepreneurs in general. We have a new startup that's already underway that would help to facilitate. We're working with several others. And I think it's going to be kind of a robust year, especially considering this past year has been spent a lot on building up that physical structure. Now that it's essentially in place, we can begin running more than just walking like we had been. So hopefully that wasn't too fast. I speak quickly as an attorney by my training. So if I missed anything, if you got questions, ask them. I don't have much of a filter, so the odds are I'll answer them. Please.
Any questions on the floor? Or
I just want to point out, we have another board member here too, Mike Springer's recently been appointed to the Reggie board. I think he's been on the board now a few months or so.
Yeah, almost 6 months. Okay. Time's flying.
Welcome, Mike. Great. Great to see the activity. You had a question?
Just a question, if I may. In regards to our airport, I know have you attended any of those meetings or thought about that area as far as the investment for this, the town of Grand Rapids?
Yeah, I've actually met with, today I met with the mayor of Wisconsin Rapids. Yeah, part of the subject was the airport. Its impact and the engagement of the different municipalities who are involved. From my perspective, you have a valuable asset there. It's kind of like a diamond in the rough. You're going to have these folks flying in and out for this golfing resort, but they're going to expect and anticipate the kind of service and hands-on care that currently is not there at the moment. So what we're looking at are other locations that have similar operations. But I don't want to see everything going to Stevens Point.
Right.
So we'd like to have everything land there, including things like limousine services. I know it sounds strange, but shuttles, rental cars, even a small cafe, someone to greet the plane, those kind of things that we're looking at from our perspective, and also looking at some regional airport development companies to have them come in and engage the various municipalities. Cost factors, I have no idea.
Right.
But yeah, we are working with them.
Okay.
And I think it'd be advantageous, especially for a place like Grand Rapids, because of the nature of your community. It's very stable. You get a type of attractive location people want to be in. And these are the kind of folks who will buy homes and will buy into the communities and invest if they see something of value. They're organized. There's nothing great to report yet.
Okay.
That's kind of where my comment was going to go primarily to, Steve. But yeah, we are seeing some activity already.
Yeah.
Frequent jets, frequent. We've had a few Lear jets come in, and when the Lear jets come in, they They too take diesel or jet fuel, and we've had some pretty good sales the last couple, 3 weeks. And we're starting to plan the budget process for a wish list of what we need the airport to look like in the next 5 years. So, any other questions? If not, I thank you very much, and thank you, Patty, for asking them to.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right on band. Thank you.
Good night.
Right, item 7 is going to be the approval of resolution 2016-16, Delaney Collins, property 7931 Woodrow Avenue, certified survey map request splitting off of the existing 4.3929 acres, 0.56 and 0.795 acres, creating lots 2, except 7-foot road dedication on Woodrock Avenue and 17-foot road dedication along 80th Street.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve resolution 2016-16.
Motion Bill, second Kathy, discussion now.
I would like to just ask a question.
Go ahead.
The young lady here asked a question of it, and I think you answered it, but I don't know if the applicant or the person that is designated to speak for the applicant agreed with the comment. She mentioned something about.
I guess if I could jump in, I guess my just overall interest is kind of like with the other gentleman here, is just being that there's something new going on, next to my property, and like there seems like it's out in a more rural thing where this is going to be like on a corner lot, which I would expect it, whatever they're putting there would, be something of good service for Kellner, which I'm all for. I just want it to be, I guess maybe noted first so I can kind of have an idea of what it would be and how it would impact me or what I should do, because I'm in the same situation where I'm trying to, figure out what to do with our commercial lot there
Sure.
for the benefit of ourselves.
Sure, if a sale would go through, then obviously it's got to go through the town board. And then at that point in time, you're more than welcome to come in and hear any plans if they are ready to be announced.
Okay.
But like most often, a lot of people may buy something without a lot of announcements or whatever, but it's being a commercial property would dictate a lot of what kind of business it would be. And as far as that parcel again, that unopened road, that would stay there until such time as it's determined that it was no longer needed to fill a possible subdivision, because there are other alternate ways, and at that point in time it would be considered town might abandon it, and basically each parcel would get half of the land that was dedicated.
My concern without being able to see a map
Sure.
or just to read these dimensions, it was hard to visualize where, so there'll be basically a
Sure.
buffer in between.
Yeah, 66 foot is still there, I believe it is. Okay, any other questions? We had a motion, and did we have a second from Kathy? Any other discussion here? None, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, any opposed? No opposed, motion carries. Item 8, approval of resolution 2016-17, Delaney County property on 7921 Woodrock parcel 073, application to rezone the newly created certified survey map, lot 1 and lot 2 from agriculture to B1 commercial. Newly created lots do not meet current agricultural size standards, so it must be changed.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2016-17.
I'll second.
Motion Dan, second Patty. Any discussions? Not hearing any. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion carries. Item 9, approval of resolution 2016-22, Shane Rouge, conditional use of rent to build storage warehouses with office in a commercial district located at 2221 Oak Street, parcel 070301A. And you have the resolution in front of you. Is there a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2016-22.
I'll second it.
Motion Kathy, second Dan. Discussion. Go ahead, William.
Yes, Doug here said that he'd give me this. He handed me this as he came in the door. And he also called me on the phone and wanted to discuss this, and I told him that I wouldn't discuss this matter with him, that if he had anything good or bad to say about it, to come to the meeting and other people. So I will be voting on this. However, I just want people to know I did not discuss this with him on the phone at all, and I did not know he was going to bring me this, which is self-storage units, drugs, in red.
Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak? Just a comment that I'll make on town of Grand Rapids businesses as a whole. Because of the nature of the town not being sewer and water service provided, the town and its business districts typically has businesses that do not require sewer and water services. And there's some of the reasons that the large parcels are there are probably from agricultural parcels previously, or in the case of Highway 54, it was a road expansion. And but the town of Grand Rapids has, I believe, 5 storage unit facilities in our township now. One the Toy Box is still part of there. And Mel, for the most part, Chief, do we see any activities that are discouraging to us?
From time to time, we have people trying to live out of them. That's probably been our biggest issue, but usually the management company contacts us right away and it's corrected. I think anytime you have storage units, as we saw earlier this year, there was a rash of them throughout the county and even surrounding counties, you know, as far as breaking into those storage units. But, you know, with even, you know, video surveillance and things like that, some of them go back, you know, we've been fairly lucky in being able to clear them and putting them, you know, the culprits, you know, handle them appropriately. So.
Okay. Ed, did you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to comment from our Plan Commission. I'm a member on the Plan Commission and had voted in favor of the storage facility. Our Plan Commission did review and see the buildings, the drawings, and they look very nice. His office area that's going to be part of this, it looks very nice. And Shane can correct me if I'm wrong, has done, he has a lot of different, he owns a lot of different properties, and he's worked with other people that have purchased property from him. And the businesses that, you know, spruced up the buildings that were there, they look very nice. And the neighbors too, they were in a residential area. We had changed that zoning from residential to commercial, so, and they operate a business out of there. That building looks really nice, and the neighbors there too have no problems with them because they conduct business in a good manner. So I have all the confidence in Shane and his abilities to ensure that he's not going to interfere with the public, you know, the community in that area. So.
Any other comments? William again?
Yes, I also attended the Plan Commission meeting, and this is a conditional use. It's not a zone change, as Patty had indicated. It's a conditional use, and many of these items were discussed. And at that time, the Plan Commission had an opportunity to put conditions on it, but did not. And there was a comment made that that a person's property values would go down with a storage unit next to it. I was an assessor, and that's not true. The only way property goes down usually is if it's not there anymore. Your property, adjacent properties are, such as somebody digs a gravel pit next to you, or it's a lake that dries up. So I find Shane to be was very articulate in presenting this, and the number of units that he does have around, he does a good job. So I will be voting yes for this.
Anybody else? Mel, you have something else, Ken?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, being that there's going to be office space and people around there, like Shane said, Monday through Friday, a lot of those problems that we run into are storage units that don't have any on-site management or personnel there, and they're just the standing buildings. So having an office there, I think, will go just a long way in curbing any of the issues that we have, that we see at other storage units also.
Thank you. Dan?
I guess I'm the only one who didn't bite then, right? No, I also looked at the drawings and have seen Mr. Rush's work in the past, and I think it will definitely be an asset to Grand Rapids, and I appreciate them, looking to grow business in our town. So I too will be voting for it, and anything we can do to help to facilitate, please, we're here.
Anything else? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And aye, any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Root, you have your conditions. Item 10, approval of resolution 2016-23 to participate in the development of a community wildfire protection plan. And Amy is here. We are, let's see, we've completed our first or our second series of 5 years.
In our first 5 years.
Okay.
So I will be brief. My name is Amy Lukey. I work for the Department of Natural Resources Division of Forestry. And I work in the wildfire program. And going back to 2009, I've been working with the town of Grand Rapids. So going back that far, we did something to create a plan for the town of Grand Rapids related to wildfire danger. There is a map still from that process a long time ago on the wall. I just wanted to briefly flash, we look at areas that are at high risk. They're at high risk because of the vegetation as well as the number of homes. And so the town of Grand Rapids is one of the towns that we have listed as being at very high risk wildfire. That's why we originally approached the town and why we continue to work with the town on issues in terms of preventing and preparing for wildland fire. So we have a long-standing relationship. I wanted to say, although we have been, I feel very lucky in terms of wildfires in the town, there are fires, burning complaints every year. I can't give you the exact, the ranger could tell you, but I don't have the exact information on that. And we've been lucky a few times, but there have been times when wildfires have threatened homes in the town. Even though we have been lucky, the potential is still there. So if we think of what's around the town, if you think of the town of Saratoga, the 1977 Saratoga fire, 2005 Cottonville fire just to the south, and the town of Big Flats, the potential continues to be there even though we've been lucky so far. So that's why we continue to put this effort in. Again, the effort is to reduce the impact on the town as a whole, economics, roads, services, as well as the aesthetics and the value of property for homeowners, not to mention life safety and property safety. So essentially, we've been working these few years. I was going to briefly mention just some of the projects that have been undertaken during that time. There was a full-color newsletter that went out about wildfire in 2011, again in 2015. There was a project done to offer some chipping services in Brookhaven Estates, which became a nationally recognized Firewise community in 2012. So they continue to do work. Some other additional projects that focused again on Brookhaven Estates and also the Timber Valley subdivision. The fire department picnic, we've had, smoky bearer information and just other things here at the town hall as well. So it's been an ongoing effort. And so the request, what we're saying now is, we've had the 5-year plan. Generally, we like to update those plans after 5 years. So the request today is, it's an opportunity for the board to decide, is it something you'd like to continue and refresh? And if so, we hope that you will, vote in the positive on this resolution to participate in the planning process. The planning process, just going forward, Arnie's very familiar, he's been a part of this since day one, would be several, usually 3, we try to keep it as brief as possible, 3 planning meetings. We've added on a wildfire community survey, which has been really interesting all through this area, town of Rome, town of Midwest, town of Monroe, I'm working with quite a few in this area, just to see what people have gained in understanding and knowledge and their interest in certain kinds of projects. So hopefully, if it passes, we would have an updated plan in 2017 to continue to work on additional projects. So questions for me?
I happen to live in the Timber Valley subdivision, and I was participated in the last when you came out there for, and it was amazing the amount of residents that actually cleaned up areas, and some extremely, and how quickly you guys got in there, cleaned up the brush, and like I said, it was truly noticeable as soon as it was over, and it was.
And a part of that project also was an offer for firefighters to come to homes and walk around and say, give you some ideas. So there were 6 from that subdivision that participated and was very welcoming and informative and worthwhile. So yeah, bit by bit, it's sort of education, just that there is risk, and then preventing wildfires, and then also things about how do you protect your property, reducing fuels being one of those.
And one of those residents also had a driveway who did not realize that our fire engine could not fit down there. And when you actually showed them, they addressed it, and it was very nice, but unaware that and it was just a few minor things that they changed. But yeah, very, very excellent program.
And I think it would be very interesting for you to see the survey when it comes back, to ask people, what do you think the risk is in the town of Grand Rapids? I mean, you live right outside of Wisconsin Rapids, you're not going to think typically that there's the kind of risk that you do have. So raising awareness is number one. We have those issues. And during this time also, you recall the fire department had the fundraiser with the address signs. That's been very well received and done. So even that safety measure has improved over the last 5 years in terms of firefighters have to be able to find your house, number one, and then they have to be able to get up the driveway or access the property, both of those things.
The thing about those signs, they're still being bought. I think I just saw another order of 6 or 8 of them that just came in again. So people are still seeing them on our website, filling out the forms, or stopping in and getting the address signs. They see them all over and like one with theirs, because it certainly does help if emergency services are needed to come to your house. So, any other questions? William, I guess you were first.
I was first?
Yeah, for Patty.
For Patty.
Go ahead.
Oh,
You had hands up.
okay. Yes, I'm glad to see you here, Amy. We met down in
We go
Madison.
way back, too.
Went back, and on Firewise. And do they have those seminars anymore? That we had that.
The one that was about the ordinances and the zoning.
Yes, RC&D put it through.
Yeah, RC. I haven't seen, he's referring to probably 3 years ago or now, there was a national group that brought a workshop to Madison. It was related, targeting towns and related to ordinances and zoning. And I haven't seen anything on that topic since that time. It wasn't a real good fit for Wisconsin because of some of the ways we do things here. We weren't even able to adopt, so we don't have state codes. I can't get the specifics, but I've been quiet on that front.
And I continue to get your emails, and I see the list gets longer and longer.
Yeah.
So am I to assume that when we see a town on there that they belong to what we're going to act on today?
Yes, you could assume that. And I wish, one thing I didn't have is I have a nice map now. So just to give you an idea, I cover 15 counties of central Wisconsin. We call it Central Wisconsin Sand. So I go over to Eau Claire, down to the Dells, up to Wausau, Black River Falls, Toma. What do we all have in common? The sandy soil, jack pine, red pine, acres and acres and acres of wildfire. The biggest characteristic for us is we have the ability to support like a 10,000 acre plus wildland fire. Unfortunately, we don't have those fires the way we used to, but the potential is certainly there. In this area, I work with 11 CWPPs, 11 municipalities that have plans currently. In addition to that, there are 9 recognized Firewise communities. So the program continues to grow and grow and grow. to the point where I wish I could clone myself. It's quite a large area to cover, but yeah, you are not alone. You're in very good company. And I continue to try to look for ways that we can network even amongst the different groups to sort of share some of the information and topics that, everyone's working on similar ideas of things that they're, trying to work through. And I love the fire department fundraiser project because that's something I can share with other fire departments who all struggle with access. So, and it continues to be a great example that I like to tell people about.
Thank you.
Patty, now I think you had
I know, I have a lot of questions if I may. Yes, you know me. So first of all, how do you receive your numbers? You had indicated that the town of Grand Rapids is at high risk. How do you
Very
receive
high
your
risk.
numbers and from whom? How does that system work?
Okay, so that's a little bit complicated, so I'll just give you, and I don't fully know. So the overview part is, it's based on, it's a GIS layer map based on multiple layers. So we look at occurrence of wildfire, we look at what the soils are like, we look at housing density, and I could very easily email to Arnie what some of those things are. It breaks down, it's 3 different layers, and it looks at these different things. So I'm happy to do that. But it was a national initiative because the Forest Service in 2003 passed the Healthy Forest Act that was, we're losing all these houses every year nationwide to wildland fire. So it was an effort to say, what do we do? What do we do? They put a big chunk of money that we can apply for communities that are at risk. So the state applies for these funds and then we dole them out. But part of the conditions of that was you had to give some kind of a designation for each municipality, and that's how we did it. So the purpose is to make sure that these funds go to the communities that are at the highest level of risk.
Okay.
So just to give you, and it's based on those things. It's not, I'm sure it's not perfect, but you see yourself in the company of Grand Rapids, Saratoga, and if you continue to go south from there, town of Rome, town of Big West, town of Monroe are all at that very high level, the highest level, and actually most of Adams and Juniper County were along the river all follow that same thing. And again, it's, just looking around, it's that sandy soil, it's the jack pine, red pine, dry oak mix that you see throughout the town of Grand Rapids.
Okay, that was one. How does a subdivision get nominated for the projects? You mentioned 2 that were in. If there were other subdivisions that were looking or had the problem, how did they get nominated or part of that?
So the way that worked was we had a work group that worked on this plan. So the whole point is that it's a local initiative. DNR provides resource expertise and money along with the fire chief and then local government, as well as anybody else who's interested from the community. So that work group, we had the plan in place that said this is what we're going to do each year. One of those projects was identified to look at what we felt were the highest risk subdivisions, and so we started there. But it would be the local work group would be the one to determine, as well as the town board. As projects are being instigated or looked at, then that process all goes through the town. It's a local decision made by the people locally.
Okay.
In terms of so you're talking more about not becoming a Firewise committee, but you were discussing about the projects and where the projects take place, correct? Okay. And as long as you brought that up, I just want to mention too that one of the wonderful benefits of being a town that has a plan is that you receive priority consideration for these grant funds. So for example, a town that has a community wildfire protection plan up to $10,000 per year, they can be then reimbursed towards projects that improve safety.
Okay.
And no cost for being a part of creating the plan. There's no cost to the town for developing the plan.
Okay, and then another one I had was in regards to part of your service, would that include making additional wells, community wells for water access? We don't have septic or sewer system, water systems. So I'm wondering, is part of that, would a grant be utilized for that? Is that part of your program?
Well, it could be. It could be. So the step 1 would be, first thing we do is identify what the risks are. And by we, I mean not DNR, but the group, including the fire chief and the local government. We all sit down and we say, what are the concerns? So that would be step number 1. And my first thing I would do is ask the fire chief, do you have adequate water access to fight wildfire or fight structure fires, wildfires? And then if that was an issue, then projects would be put in the plan. And then the next step would be how do we fund the plan or, fund a project like that if it even got to that point. And it depends what it would be. I mean, you can have something like a fire hydrant, or you can have something that's a dry well, and there are different things that could be funded, not be funded, but.
Okay. And my final question. How can we become part of that mailing list? I'm not currently on that mailing list, so contact or Arnie or...
I can provide deferred emails for all the town board members.
Okay, that'd be great.
If you're interested, yeah, and I do, mainly it's things like, it was Smokey Bear's birthday on Tuesday, so I did a quick little thing that went out saying, and what towns are doing is, when I'm sending those things out, I was at Town of Monroe, and they had voting out, and they printed out this little, cute Smokey Bear happy birthday, and they put it on their window, or it's going on people's websites or Facebook pages, so as I have these anniversaries of local fires, then you can zap those out there, but yep, anybody who wants to be on it, Arnie can.
So long as you mention Smokey's birthday, anybody know how old he was yesterday?
It's got to be over 50.
Well over 50.
72, you're the closest. There you go.
Wow.
I wish I had a Smokey Bear doll I could just whip out. Yeah, I had a couple.
He's already got one.
Just on subdivisions, we probably could talk a little bit about Brookhaven just briefly, because they have an association down there, and they chose themselves to become a Firewise community, and they do projects themselves with brush cleaning every year, and they tax their residents some fees to do that. Plus, they also do apply for the state grants and do get some assistance there. So I think that's one of our pristine subdivisions that's really taken an initiative in wanting to.
Is that why we see Lance Primmel's wife at?
Right.
Yeah, Julie Pummel is the Firewise contact for myself, and that's a great, thank you, Arnie, for saying that, because two of those projects, the one that you're referring to, was a part of this CWPP work group where we said what are the highest risk, and people who, the experts in the area, we said that's where we're most concerned, that's why we went there. But many of you may know that Brookhaven Estates continues to do projects every year. That's apart and separate.
Okay.
So yes, it was the fact that we went to them and we did the same thing that we did to the town. We said, hey, you guys know you're at risk here? No. And so they took these steps, and every year they invest, they have me come every year, they do a meeting, they do projects every year, and they a lot of volunteer labor, and these funds are 50-50, so a lot of it relies on that local investment. So they continue. So they've been recognized since 2009, I believe, so quite a while going back as well. And they've seen a lot of progress and improvement, and they've got a lot of commonly owned property that had not been touched. Just a lot of fuel on the ground, and where they house they're right on the edge of Saratoga, where it's just woods, houses. So I'm really pleased with their dedication and the support, because one of the projects in our current plan is that support in any way we can Brookhaven Estates or other subdivisions. So if there are other subdivisions that are interested in being Firewise communities, I'd be thrilled to work with them.
Okay.
I think Dad should work on Timber Valley.
All by himself.
All right, any other questions? Otherwise, Amy, you did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Just a comment, not just being a property owner at Brookhaven as well. She does just a marvelous job at the meetings that we have. Arnie, you've been to some of the homeowners meetings as well, but it's a bunch of people that basically get together and we say, what do we need to accomplish this year? And then ask what her opinion is on that and what needs to be done, and then we get the people out and work, and then there were a lot of people out there working this year, so.
Yep.
Yeah, you do a great job there. I'm simply amazed.
Yep. Thank you. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Okay. Anybody willing to
I'll make a motion
make the
to approve
resolution forward?
2016-23 as presented.
Kathy, second.
I'll second it.
Dan, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Thank you very much. Now that it passed, I'll let you know at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Amy and a few of us will be meeting. If you're available, Bill, or you want to stop in, we'll be starting the process tomorrow morning.
Is that here?
Here. So we'll move to, where am I throwing my agenda away for?
Yeah, we got a ways to go yet.
Yeah, ways to go.
Quitting time.
Too much birthday cake.
No, I didn't have any margaritas
Smokey's birthday,
tonight.
Lisa's birthday, Chris's birthday.
And Chris's birthday's tomorrow.
Item 11, approve resolution 2016-24, amend Pelham budget for 2016 by appropriating $434.55 from General Crime Prevention Reserve to PD equipment, supplies, and expense account.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2016-24 for the 434.55.
I'll second.
Dan and Kathy, please see it.
I'm just noticing, just as I did this, I changed it from the last one that the balance needs to be changed. I didn't update the balance after I took, so the balance will need to be amended as the second, whereas this is the balance from when we bought the speed trailers.
So the balance is $434.55?
No, the purchase for this is $434.55, but that needs to come off the $717.50, so the balance is going to be the remaining difference. So
Okay, got that?
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Motion carried. 12 to approve Officer Anderson attending instructional development course in Appleton, October 24th to the 27th. Approximate cost $827.60. And Chief, this is in your budget, correct?
That's correct.
I'll make a motion to approve Officer Anderson attending the instructor development course in Appleton, October 24th and 27th.
Motion Patty, second.
I'll second.
Kathy, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye, any opposed? No opposed? Approval of Chairman Nystrom attending airport operation Landless Seminar in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, September 20th and 21st. $70 will be the charge. There will be no charge for mileage from me. Total cost would be $70.
I'll make a motion
to
You can go.
approve Chairman Nystrom attending the airport operations and land use seminar in Stevens Point.
I'll second.
Second, Patty. Obviously, I'll abstain. Any other discussion?
I usually, both people went, and
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's during a working day, so it's the first I seen it, but I'm not going to be able to make it, I can tell you.
Well, and you just with your recent job change, you don't have a lot of vacation time yet.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to attend, but hopefully in the future I'll do something.
Okay.
I'm also attending, but I'm paying my own way.
All in, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? I abstain. Motion carries. Approve item 14, approve Chief Bowen and 3 fire inspectors heading Wisconsin State Fire course, $2,164. This is in his budget.
I'll make the motion to approve Don Bone, Jim Alfred, Mike Ski, and Mark Mahoney to attend the Wisconsin State Fire Inspectors Association Conference in Wisconsin Dells.
I'll second.
Motion Kathy, second Patty. Discussion?
No, I would guess, like the question was asked of Mel, this is in his budget.
And I said yes.
And all 4 of them go, or do they just send a representative and then they come back?
They sent 4 last year, sending 4 this year.
$2,164.
That was my question. Are all of these people are and will be continuing to do the fire inspection?
Right, they are current and future fire inspectors.
Okay.
Yep.
Never mind, mileage is 0. I was going to ask about mileage, but there's no cost. So
I assume they're taking Don's truck.
that's what I was going to ask, so.
The ladder truck.
Yeah, taking the ladder truck. All right, motion made, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 15, discuss residents' concern regarding town policy on enforcing fireworks committee. We have the ordinance in front of you. The fee structure for a fine, I think, was $10 to for various on up. So William, we asked for this to be on. What are you looking to do?
Well, I think is what should be done, is I think we ought to look at when we have a legislative committee, look over that ordinance and see where, I have it, and I just hand this out. This is a letter from a person on Schroedman, Tom Wetland. I think you know him, Arnie, you used to work with him. And he sent this letter indicating what the problems were, and he asked me to bring this to the town board. I would say, I think we have a problem out there. I think we should discuss it, even with law enforcement present, about fireworks in the town of Grand Rapids.
I can tell you that I asked the fire chief, who is the one that would authorize any permits, and he did not issue any permits. He did inspect the fireworks facilities, sale facilities that were in Grand Rapids, and there was none shown anywhere when he was doing the inspection. So if they are being bought, purchased, obviously they're going somewhere. Like there's various towns that have shacks that run 24 hours. I don't want to say 24 hours, but 365 days a year, and as far as the enforcement, it's always up to the discretion of the police department, whether they issue stop orders, warnings, or whatever. It's no different than when them stopping for anybody for speeding or whatever. The officer has the option of what action he takes. So we can't mandate anybody.
So if that's in response to what I just said, it's meaning it's all taken care of in the ordinance and we don't have to review it. I would say if somebody would come to the town, I would say if somebody would come to the town and indicate that on Washington Avenue, we have people really speeding, would you increase the watch of it? And we would go to law enforcement and do it. But because your response here is that it's already being done, there's nothing can be done about it. We have a lot of people complaining about this.
I don't think you can read my mind, Bill, what I said. I don't think you need to interpret my mind. All I said was that the calls that came in, and I heard a few of them, I heard our officers respond. I didn't follow up to ask what the nature of the interaction was, because that's, in my mind, the police's ability to do their job and respect and protect the town.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Bill, do you know if the police chief got a copy of this letter?
No, he did
Just
not.
the first, so we can get it to Mel. But my question is, and it's more for insight from all of you, is if I get it, I get frustrated when I hear fireworks going off, and I know they shouldn't be going off. But how do we follow up if we didn't visually see the person who let that firework off? Who do you cite? If our ordinance does allow us to cite the person, but if you're around a group of 20 people and not one of the 20 admits to it, how can you cite that other than having the police officer sit there and try and watch? So any thought or insight on that?
And you have a good point, and maybe that should be something that we should take to legislative to maybe encompass that in this ordinance, indicating that if there are fireworks lit off in that area, there's evidence of cans or whatever that's there, not only one, but all will be cited. No difference than underage drinking or anything like that. It's a one or all type of situation, all that's there. And maybe that is something we want to encompass into this, so that might be a good suggestion. Can we take this?
I think we should take this legislative.
I have no problem
have
sending
that
it to
conversation.
legislative. I'm just speaking as to what I understand the process that we do. If we get complaints, we go on them. But if you could be on one end of the town, they're going off on the other end of the town, and how do you if there was 5 or 6 people, I don't know, maybe there was more, but how do you find out who they are, and how do you manage them?
Yeah, so maybe that's
I think
something
the
we could do.
education part of it is the biggest piece that we got, and if we
Put that in the Firewise project.
and reason why I said the $10 to whatever charge, I don't think a fine of $10 is sufficient to slap anybody on their hands. So, all right, I'll use that as a,
Yeah, because I would like to have the attorney's interpretation of that thought process that you shared, which is where I was going. Okay.
okay, I'll take that as a referral to legislative. Item 16 then is the extended warranty on the Freightliner plow truck that we discussed at the meeting. I did talk to Rick, and he had a conversation with the folks again up in Wausau, and they assured us that it's the most intelligent thing you would do is to get an extended warranty on emission systems. And I think our cost was $2,100. Is that what it was, roughly? $2,050. So I think it would be very intelligent of us just to go ahead and purchase the extended warranty.
I make a motion to approve the extended warranty for the new Freightliner plow.
Motion, Patty, second.
I'll second it.
Dan, any discussion?
Do you want to put the cost in your motion?
Yes.
Or at least to identify what the
Not to
protection
exceed,
plan?
where is that?
2,000.
Oh, okay, not to exceed $2,050. Is that correct? Or should I go
Is there that
2,100?
Just go 2,100.
There might be that additional fine.
Okay. Will that do?
Discussion? Yep, Bill?
I would like to see our attorney look at this. You know, it's all over the radio, TV, and in the newspapers about extended warranties. Why couldn't we just, that's what I thought it would come back and say that Nick looked it over and it's a good thing.
I didn't think there's any reason for an attorney to look it over. I can tell you that in the trucking industry that I've been in for the last 45 years, the last 20 years of those years, every truck that was bought by any of the major truck lines was always with an extended warranty because of the emission system on it since 2009. When those fail, if they fail and it's outside the warranty, it's over $20,000 to replace the emission package on the truck. So in that case, in our case, we don't use the trucks with a lot of miles, so we would exceed on years, and we're best to do anything. So if in the involvement that I had with all the industry, I can tell you that everybody buys the extended warranties.
Right.
So you and Rick looked at this then?
I talked with Rick, and I talked.
Okay.
Freightliner is a very well-known truck firm that are manufacturer of semi-trucks or large trucks. And especially Cummins is too.
Detroit isn't much better.
Well,
We had a motion and a second?
Yep.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, but aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 17, the approval of water event permit aqua skis to close Lake Wazicha for a World Water Ski Show tournament practice September 5th through the 8th. And I understand, what's the current thought, Mike?
Well, what we're looking for is not Labor Day itself as a whole day, just 5 p.m. I got a hold of Mel and we talked about it, and I think we all agree Labor Day is a bad day to close the lake. So we're thinking a good compromise. We can get a team or two in at the end of the day there before sunset. Sunset's 7:26 p.m. on the 5th. So we're hoping to get a couple of teams in there. The whole difference between this and state, pardon me, is that the teams that come and ski here at state pretty much ski here every year. They come in on a Saturday, a Sunday. They know what kind of traffic they're dealing with on the water. They know what the site looks like. They're familiar with the site, so they only need a day or two of practice. Most of those teams come in, take an hour or two to practice, and then they don't come back until the tournament itself. But these teams are coming in international. They've never skied the site before, and they're going to need some practice time to acclimate to it and see what it's about. And the first thing they're going to run into is most cruising up and down there. and they're going to be trying to send guys over the jump, and there's going to be wakes coming in, and guys are going to be wiping out before they get to the jump. They're just not used to that site and that traffic. So that's why the need to close it down. The other thing I would say too, this is probably a one-time event. It's not like we're coming back every September and wanting to do this. The aqua skiers aren't going to be back to say we need to close the lake next year or 2 years from now for a world tournament. Frankly, it's been a lot of work putting on these 2 tournaments, and I got a big chunk of that, so I know. And I know the consensus right now is, were we interested in putting a bid in on it for 2 years from now? And all the emails came back emphatically, no. So it's probably a one-time event. But we did this in conjunction with the Visitor and Convention Bureau. Talked to us about holding it here. It'd be a feather in their cap to host such a thing internationally. And the other, we were requested by some of the international teams that heard about Lake Wazeecha and wanted a chance to ski it. So that's how they ended up here in the first place. But what we really need is the practice time to acclimate them. We're thinking Tuesday and Wednesday, if we could get that, we'd be very happy. Monday would be a good thing to have. We could get one team in there, and we can put another one up on the river at our site up there, so they get jump time on the river up there. That's a little more hit and miss because of if you got any kind of wind up there with that jump and with barefooting and stuff, it's a little tougher to get a practice in up there. We do it, but there's a lot of hit and miss for us too. So anyway, that's the plan.
One of the good things about it being what it is, the beaches are already closed for the season, so your kids are back in school, and your activity level around the lake is greatly down.
Starting maybe with exception of Labor Day.
Other than Labor Day.
Well, and we didn't, we talked about when to host the tournament. We would have preferred to have it in August because the water's warmer. It's a little warmer time of the year. And generally, it's been held towards the end of September. And most all these skiers are getting tired of freezing at the end of September. Even when we did that, helped out with that big pull out there, when people were going in the water, I mean, they were shivering coming out. It was really tough on them. So that was the big thing about getting it here was there's no way they were going to stand for it to be that late in September. We were really pickled in to this particular week, and we knew Labor Day would be an issue. So we don't expect it, but we're asking to see what you guys are willing to do. Mel's thinking 5 o'clock on. I think that would work for us, but of course it's up to you guys.
I'll make a motion to approve the water event permit for the aqua skiers to close Lake Wazeecha for the World Water Ski Show Tournament. Practices beginning September 5th at 5 p.m., continuing through the end of the event, September 11th at 6 p.m.
Motion, Kathy. Second? I'll second.
I'll second it for discussion.
Well, go ahead, Dan. You got
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
Okay, so go ahead. Questions?
Yeah, again, and I have no problem with the 6th, 7th, and 8th. I mean, you got 6 teams coming in, correct? Five international teams.
Yep.
And
well, one's a U.S. team, then there's China, Australia, Belgium, and Canada.
So that 2-3 hours on Monday, I mean, they're obviously traveling quite a distance, so they're going to be here the entire days for Tuesday, Wednesday.
Actually, these teams show up about a week ahead, and they're scattered at different sites. They basically pool up with a couple of different teams, as a place to stay. About 35 people per team is what it is, and they'll go to, like some will be staying in with Rockford down at Loves Park, Illinois. There'll be a team down there. There's a team, I think, staying in Madison, and there's one, I think, in Beaver Dam.
Okay.
I don't believe we were hosting anything. I haven't heard anything lately. So, but what happens, they'll spend a week practicing and kind of getting up to speed at that location. But then they'll come here on Saturday, Sunday. They'll get, into a hotel, and then they'll be coming out to try to get some practice time in. The team that seems to need to have the Monday, believe it or not, is the U.S. team. Probably 3/4 of those people are from Wisconsin and have skied this site. But they're the ones crying the loudest. They're probably going to get pushed upriver is where they're going to go. Australia will probably be here on that day. I think they'll be out there on Monday about that time. And I think Belgium will be out there on Monday.
Do you shut the entire lake down, or can you just shut it down from the boat landing towards the beach and leave the?
No, we don't want the whole lake. Usually what they say is 64th to 80th Street.
Yeah.
And even then, we don't go all the way up to the bridge. We don't need it all the way to the bridge. It's just easier for a marking point to say from the bridge down. It's so shallow, you couldn't get a boat up there in so many places anyway. And I think the only reason they've ever listed 64th Street is once you get too far up and you figure out you need to turn around, you're starting to send wakes in, because a lot of them come just short of the jump and then make a turn. And when that happens, it's not a big deal generally, but about the time you got a jumper going over and then there's a big wake coming in, they hit that, you get a crash. So by setting it farther down and then putting a buoy up closer, put one down farther, and then of course you got to mark the landing, but then we put a buoy up closer. And then usually the people doing the safety out there, if they see somebody coming into that area, we'll try to head them off and ask them to move back out of the area.
So technically the west, I want to say the west part of the lake then, I mean, is open. So people want to, and I appreciate you moving that to 5 p.m. instead of all day, because being a boater myself, I mean, that's kind of the last hurrah out there for everybody.
I said, well, yeah, set it up the same as state. So I came in and asked for the tournament dates, because that's what we do at state. And then they just asked me 2 days ago, okay, we're good for Monday on. And I go, what? Yeah, so I was taken by surprise. Hence I'm here. I'm just like you guys had a meeting, pressed the day out. But that's how it ended up coming back. And I think Mel is right. When I heard about this, even I was going, not Labor Day. I couldn't see it either. But, I got one end and I got the other. I got to deal with, I'm in the middle. So I figured this is a good compromise. Mel had a great idea with 5 o'clock.
I appreciate you coming tonight, too.
Appreciate you guys hearing it.
Yeah. Doesn't the lake have like a quiet, no wake time, like after 6? Or is that? Years and years ago, they used to.
They had, mostly it was kind of a fisherman thing. I think it was 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. It was a no wake zone. And it was kind of for the fishermen kind of thing. But the county did away with that, a long time ago. I mean, that was a reserve in the 80s, and it was gone then already.
Just one question that doesn't actually pertain to the permit, but what do they do for boats? Are they being provided boats?
Yeah, we're supplying boats for that. Twin Lakes Marine is supplying 3 inboards, and we're supplying a twin rig, and then Evan is supplying a boat. That's what we put out there.
So, sounds good.
Those will be pretty new stuff out there.
I would imagine it would be.
Very representative,
Any other questions, comments?
Can you reinstate your motion?
I made the motion to approve the water event permit for the Aquascaras to close Lake Wazeecha for the World Water Ski Show Tournament Practice, beginning September 5th at 5 p.m. and continuing through September 11th at 6 p.m.
Can I bring up one point?
Yes.
I know you're in the middle of this. When I initially talked to Lisa, I said, well, I'll just put in for the 5th through the 8th. But then on the application, it says the 5th through 11th at 5 p.m. time. And the reason that I did that was initially I thought, well, if we don't get the 5th through the 8th, I didn't want the 9th through 11th to fall with the vote. So that's kind of why I changed it on the application to see what was. I just thought, well, I'll leave it at
I got one more question. So the 9th through the 11th has already been approved?
It's already been approved, but I just wanted to make sure it was
you're just adding it.
that there was no more days.
Okay,
I just wanted to be very transparent.
We'll have the 5th at 5 p.m. if you approve it through
the event.
Okay.
So it's 7 days continuous.
Almost, yeah.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, any opposed? Okay, be safe.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Appreciate you doing that last minute thing.
18 is our July vouchers. Any comments, discussions, questions? Number 19, do we have any operator licenses? Do not. Item 20, monthly reports from committees. Fireworks road project for Lake Avenue is blacktopped. Basically, a 3-week project. It's waiting now for the surface to harden a little bit, and then we'll be doing shouldering and line marking, and then that'll be done. The other projects will happen in a few weeks from now. And the equipment's working fine, nothing else that I am aware of. Any questions?
Did you get any answer about smoothing out that ski jump on the?
Yes. The answer was the piece of equipment that they had here was unable to do it because they would have had to do it sideways. And the highway commissioner said he is looking for other alternatives, possibly renting it, even if he doesn't have one that he can borrow from another company.
Thank you.
Anything else? Go across the airport commission. We met last week, and airport activity is slightly down from a year ago, but we're starting to pick up with fuel sales going up and had a pretty good month. Airport is looking at what do we need for the future. We'll be looking at a capital improvement plan to come out in the future. One of those things may include the building of more T-hangars for people that have airplanes that they wish to store them on site. We currently are over capacity by requests of about 4, so the commission would be looking at potentially building another 12 units onto the existing one, and then starting the rentals of those just like we do with anything else. Grounds is cleaned up. They had emergency management, just some cleaning of brush around the shrubbing of the fence line. We did have a agriculture person come in and discuss with us the potential of doing some planting of soybeans and cetera on the airport in what would call be a no-till process. In other words, they wouldn't break the soil up. They would actually kill the grass and then seed into it, and you wouldn't be having dust issues that you would possibly have if you were to do furrows of corn plantations or whatever. That's in discussion at this stage, and it would be a long-term rental project that would take place if it does happen. BOA has to approve it. Bureau of Economics would have to approve it if it was something to go forward. Being looked at now, no other than information asked of us, no action has been taken by the commission yet.
Are they looking for a timeline?
He was, but I don't think I'm not sure that the airport commission was going to be able to meet his timeline. Looking for an answer by this fall yet so that he could do the wheat killing this fall and planting in the spring. Not sure that we're asking attorneys.
Yeah, one of the things that I know and recall from going to these airport seminars, they always indicated to try not to plant things that would attract animals.
Right.
And so, I mean, even right down
That was one of the
to fruit
reasons.
trees and things like that. So soybean,
Soybean is one that would be safe.
doesn't attract animals?
Not like corn does.
Well, yeah, I would say that is true, but it's still one
Being
that
all
does
lower to the ground, growth stock to it wouldn't cause as much vision or any issues that they may have. But we're nowhere near a point saying that we're ready to approve it.
because that would be humongous liability if we would plant something and.
Good question, Shirley.
Yeah, on the website, town website, the airport commission meetings, they're not posted.
That's
Is that something that?
that's because they're posted by the city. They post them. It should be on their website, but
I mean, it's a town, you're acting on the town's behalf, so it would be nice to have it, I think, on our website, since it's a member attending that particular. I mean, I don't look on the Wisconsin Rapids website.
And from your instance, I'm sure Bill can share.
No, well, I don't go by, I mean.
You don't go by what?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm a.
She lives in the basement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not asking for myself here. I'm asking, I'm just asking a general question, Arnie.
I was only considering that I thought that's where you were going, and I misunderstood what you're asking.
That's fine. I mean, there's other residents besides that I'm sure would probably like to know if there was an airport commission meeting. I mean, you have a lot of pilots. I don't know how they get their information.
They're all on an email list.
Oh, okay. Well,
Anybody that wants to be on an email list can be on their email list.
All right. So is that a no? That
I didn't say that we wouldn't post them. I'll look at it.
Consideration. I like a consideration that maybe that would be nice to post since it's a function of.
We can put another tab there.
I recently took over posting the meetings, the agendas, and the minutes. So when they are presented to me, I will put them on there.
Okay, thank
So
you.
if somebody sends it to me via email, whoever gets that,
I get that from Jeremy every month. so
forward it to me, then Lisa, and I'll put it on the website.
Sure, I appreciate it.
Cycling solid waste, Bill?
No meeting planned yet.
Plan Commission, Patty?
We should have one, I think it was going to be the 22nd, but don't quote me on that one, it's coming up yet this month.
Public Buildings, Dan?
We did have a meeting, and I guess we were just starting to get ready for the upcoming budget season. So we will be talking to the different department heads and that, and looking at the buildings as a whole. We did get the air conditioning unit installed in the police department. From my understanding, is working
Very nice, very nice, thank you.
We have a lot of happy officers right now.
Thank you to everybody.
And we also, along with that, and Bill, did you initiate it, or Lisa? I would say Bill, got a $129.87 rebate on Focus on Energy. So that will, thank you very much. And that was, that's about it for now.
Legislative Committee did not meet. Public Safety, Kathy?
No meeting.
Economic Development, Patty, Bill? Nothing? Personnel Committee?
No meeting yet. Dan and I will be scheduling one coming up soon. Office staff wanted to talk to us about workload with zoning and such.
Wisconsin Towns Association, anything?
Yeah, that was at the town of Siegel, and we had the same presentation that they gave us about Reggie.
Reports of individual board members? Bill?
Yes, I'd just like to indicate that business after hours is tomorrow night, and I would have liked that been a town decision to do that. I think it's a good way to advertise the town, good way to advertise our fire department, our home addresses. But my understanding is that we could have arranged for the lunch that usually has it through our auxiliary, through the fire department. I understand it's going to be at the Elks Club, Grand Rapids Elks.
No.
Grand Rapids Lions. Grand Rapids Lions. I wish that would have been a decision made by the board with board input.
I can tell you, I made the decision to do that when they asked me if Grand Rapids wanted to do a little economic development, and I said, well, I guess the committee hasn't done anything yet, so I will step forward and do it. So I arranged with our friends at the Grand Rapids Lions, and they said they're more willing to step up and offer their facility at no rent to us, and they're providing some snack hors d'oeuvres just to bring businesses out to our township, and I will stand by my decision to move forward on economic development and have the business after hours. And by the way, that's 4:30 to 6:30 tomorrow evening, and anybody is welcome to come home. And we did offer free fishing. The Lions did offer free fishing if you want to go down to their pond and throw a couple lures, go right ahead. As long as you leave the fish there when you catch them, after you catch them.
The fire department was going to putting on the lunch, or
No.
was brought to their attention? Oh, I thought that's what you said.
Well, that's what I thought I heard, but no.
It could have been arranged.
Was never presented.
I believe Mel is going to be there later when he gets back from a trip, and we'll go from there. I've got a little canned speech to present to him and a lot of data. Hopefully have some interest in somebody stepping up and say, yeah, we need a new subdivision or we're going to build some businesses. So, Dan?
Nope, good.
Patty?
Good.
Lake Wazeecha, we just started talking about that quite a bit today. Day after the International Water Ski Show, they will start drawing down Lake Wazeecha 6 inches a day to a maximum drawdown of 7 feet. And that's going to allow them to dredge, pump off the eastern silt that's fell in from Portage County that they graciously shared with us. They're going to dredge that out of there and put it up on the bank to dry off, and then they'll be trucking it away at a later date into their mound system that's down off of by KI Club, out past there. So they have their DNR permits. It's all been approved. I believe they did get a grant from somebody for part of that process, Bill, is that correct?
Through the county, yes.
So that's scheduled to start, like I said, right after the water ski. So if you want to do some good fishing, maybe 3-4 days into it, maybe a good spot to find a couple good pools of fish. Chris, got anything?
I do not.
Kathy?
Nothing.
Lisa?
Are you going to have a election report? Can you get all? Okay, excellent.
Not today.
Yeah, no, I figured as much, but okay, perfect, thank you.
Item 22, public input. Again, if anybody wishes to recap anything, 2 minutes again time. Extended period not to exceed 16 minutes. Anybody wishing to speak? Mr. Head?
Yeah, hey, once again, for you guys that offered on the Shane Roosh situation, any of you guys that offered your comments and history on the situation, I'm guessing that kind of put the objectors at ease, and, rather than taking a straight vote.
Right.
Appreciate that, so.
Okay. Anybody else? Hearing none, there is a item on there to establish next agenda. Anything so far, or if not, get it to me when you feel like it. And then item 23, 4.
To adjourn.
Okay, Kathy, second Dan, to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.